Yo, yo, was good, was good. Come in, let me know where you watching from. There's a lot of stuff going on. Let me give a moment. There's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA or just sports news media. Period. As you know, Stephen A. Smith had a little encounter last night with LeBron James. I want to say maybe it was at halftime during the Knicks and Lakers game. We're going to get into that. What happened? Um, all the details that happened in that game. As you guys know, Stephen A. Smith had a little encounter last night with well, it was a little encounter. It actually went viral. Um, Bronny James, his dad, LeBron James, confronted Stephen A. Smith last night over his criticism of LeBron James' son. And I don't even think what's going on, man. A lot of stuff going on in the media right now. LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith last night. You know, I don't really understand why he confronted LeBron James. I mean, Stephen A. Smith, because that's Stephen A. Smith's job. Yeah, but he's not gonna get Stephen A. Fired. Stephen A. just signed $100 million deal, so Stephen A. is locked in. Stephen A. is locked in. Uh, I don't know why LeBron doesn't think that his son is above criticism. I mean, but I'm gonna wait for everybody to get in. Just see who's gonna pop on. Um, I mean, any athlete that is a professional athlete, college athlete, they're gonna get they're gonna get criticized. That's the nature of sports. Oh man, that's really I do miss Kobe Bryant. Kobe Kobe was an amazing the way he handled things was just way better than LeBron. It seems like they're trying to get away from media that does any type of criticism of NBA players. That's what it seems like they're trying to do. If you criticize the NBA or you criticize the product, they're going to call you hateful. That's what they're doing. It's like, hey, well, you know, if player doesn't play good, they're going to say you're hating. Player doesn't perform well, they're going to say you're hating. If you say, hey, I don't like the product. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like the load management. I don't like the dunk contest. I don't like the NBA All-Star weekend. Whatever you say, it seems as though these players are taking offense to it. And it's like we as the fans are the ones that, you know, uh spend money on the product. So we should have the right to voice our opinions, concerning the game. And I believe Stephen A. Smith was right. Stephen A. Smith said that he doesn't believe that Bronny James is ready for the NBA. Well, no, no, Sherlock. I mean, geez, that is an accurate. That's an accurate. You know, when you look at him, that's just accurate. It's not unaccurate. You can see that he's not ready for the NBA and his performance. Uh, he's making it all about him as a part of the script that he planned. Looks like he's acting. Well, yeah, LeBron is making it all about him because I personally believe that the reason that we all know that Bronny James would not have been in the NBA if it wasn't for his father. He really didn't have that much success at the college level. Didn't play that well. And he had a long drought. Where he couldn't make a 3-point shot for a while. So they started putting him in at garbage time. Uh, you said Stephen A. talks too much. Well, it's Stephen A.'s job to talk. Stephen A didn't do anything wrong. He just signed $100 million contract. So if you sign $100 million uh, contract, the networks are paying Stephen A. Smith to critique, to give his opinion as a journalist. Yeah, well, yeah, but it's Stephen A's job. He's supposed to talk as a journalist. He's supposed to speak on the game of basketball. If he sees something that a team isn't doing or something that they are doing, but it's getting to the point where they only want you to praise these players. And looking at the product and looking at everything that's out at this particular moment, I'm not saying everything is totally bad, but it's like, well, your ratings are down for a reason. NBA ratings are down for a reason, and it's because of the product. Why should what? Give me a reason why Bron should put hands on Stephen A. Smith. Give me a reason why Stephen A. Smith is a much older man, a father to him. Why should why should LeBron put hands on Stephen A. Smith? Please help me out with that. I Help me out. Because to me, this generation of players are weak. If you think about it, Michael Jordan had to go through criticism. What did they do? They criticized the fact that they thought that he was gambling, right? We didn't have social media like, you know, back then, but they kept saying, he was gambling. What about Scottie Pippen? Scottie Pippen had to face the criticism all his life about how he choked, when they were going, and he did. And Scottie did get a little bit emotional later on. He's kind of unhinged right now. It's all coming out, but I mean, Scottie had to face criticism. Charles Barkley had to face criticism. Shaquille O'Neal had to face criticism. Kobe Bryant had faced criticism. All the NBA players has faced some level of scrutiny or criticism. And here it is that LeBron James himself can't handle anyone saying anything objective about his son, or saying his son's game needs more work, or his son's not polished enough. His son is not an NBA type player at this particular moment. I don't understand why LeBron James. When did he disrespect his son? Please tell me, because I'm going to prove to you that Stephen A. Smith didn't disrespect his son. How did he disrespect? When did he disrespect his son? As a matter of fact, here we go right here. I'm going to prove to you that he didn't disrespect his son. I got the clip right here. Let's go ahead on and bring it up. We're gonna bring it up. Videos. We're gonna prove to you that Stephen A. Smith did nothing wrong. He did not
That
disrespect his
wasn't a
son. I'm gonna
basketball
play it right
player
here.
confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. You're exposing your son like this? I never would speak negatively about your son.
Okay.
I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star.
Okay. What did Stephen A. Smith say wrong about Bronny James? What did he say wrong? Please help me out. Please help me out. How is he being phony? He didn't say anything wrong uh, about Bronny at all. He said he hopes that Bronny flourishes. He hopes that Bronny does well as an NBA player. But he just said that at this particular moment, he's not ready. At this particular moment, LeBron James had hyped up Bronny and said he was better than a lot of players that was in the NBA currently right now. So my thing is, Stephen A is just calling it correct. He didn't disrespect Bronny. Bronny need to be in the G League. And he really don't need to be in the G League. There's other players that probably should be in the G League. But because of his father, right? Because of his father, who he is, now he's in the G League. He's able to. He don't need to play basketball. Work on his game. May take some time, but at this present moment, Bronny isn't ready. He isn't ready. So how did Stephen A. Smith disrespect his father? And see, that's the problem that I am wondering with this generation. He said, "I love hoop. I haven't watched a full NBA game since Jordan left. The Bulls don't watch when he went to the Wizards." Yeah, it's rough right now. It's rough right now. Basketball's a little rough. Um, in particular, the amount of 3-point shots that's been taken during the game. No, he didn't. He didn't say he was trash. Show me the clip. Show me where Stephen A. Smith said he was trash. He never said that. I just played the video for you right there. I just played the video for you right there. Stephen A. Smith never said he was trash. Here goes the video right here. See what I'm saying? The video right here, he said Bronny James isn't ready for the NBA. He praised LeBron James and said LeBron James is the second greatest player behind Michael Jordan, which I disagree with. And he said, "Now I'm begging you not to do this to your son," meaning expose him to levels of the NBA that he's not ready for. Because if you remember, JJ Redick put him out there in the first quarter, and Tyrese Maxey destroyed him, made him look foolish. Like, oh, you gonna put Bronny James on me? Crossed him up, step back three, everything you could think of. Tyrese Maxey did to him. And the day after, Stephen A. Smith, like a man, said, "Hey, he ain't ready for this. This is making him look bad. It's making you look bad because you, being the player that supposed to have all this knowledge of the game, should know that your son shouldn't be out here, you know, playing people. You got a target on his back. Number one, the target is on his back because you said he's better than half the players in the NBA. So you put a target on Bronny James's back. So now you got players looking like, wait a minute, they gunning for to be on teams, position, and it's like you gonna say this dude is better than me. So every time Bronny get on the court, he gonna get crossed up. Somebody gonna go at him, and that's exactly what happened until they sent him to the G League. I don't know. He may very well be a great player in the future, but right now at this particular moment, he isn't. That's not sneak dissing. Everybody said that. Jeff Teague said it. Jeff Teague on his podcast said, "I don't see it right now." There's a lot of people a lot of NBA players. Shaq was a sneak dissing. Shaq said, "No, not at the time." There's a lot of players. That's not sneak dissing. Sneak dissing. He didn't fire shots. He said it right there on first take. He says, "I'm pleading with you." That's not a sneak diss. Don't do this to him because the numbers show. I think it was like 0 for he was like 0 for 19, and then he finally hit his first three in garbage time. And so it's like, wait a minute, the numbers are showing this kid isn't that good. He's not. The numbers are showing that Bronny is not who LeBron said he was. It's literally showing that you guys believe in numbers so much. The numbers literally show that he is not on a NBA caliber level. So I don't think he was sneak dissing at all. He wasn't sneak dissing at all. I agree with I agree. He's not sneak dissing. He's just telling the truth. Like Sham said, he's telling the truth. But because, everybody is brainwashed, and the media is, you know, basically the only thing they do is promote LeBron, LeBron, LeBron. His groupies automatic. This is one thing about this generation. If you say that you don't like a certain thing, the first thing they do is call it hating. Oh, okay, watch. Yeah, it's like so a person can have their opinion without it being called hate. That's the problem. Every time someone has an opinion, it's called hate. But just his opinion. Like, look up the definition of hate so that you can understand what hating really, really is and distinguish if someone is hating or someone's voicing their opinion. And by the numbers, when you look at the numbers, Bronny James is an NBA player. Well, that's it. Bronny James sells jerseys. Okay, LeBron James sells jerseys also. Yeah, I mean, we live in the social media age. We live in the YouTube age, an age of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. And so Bronny has a big following because he plays these games on those platforms. And so the kids like him. He sells jerseys. That's just it. But because he sells jerseys, that doesn't necessarily mean that he is a great basketball player. I'm not saying that he can't be a great basketball player. You know, if he puts his work and hard work into it, maybe things could turn around. But as of now, that's what Stephen A. Smith is saying. He's saying this kid is not a good basketball player as of now. He's not ready for it right now. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some work, effort just to get him to the NBA level because he's kind of undersized. Number one, as a you know, so a bigger guard or someone that's they're gonna go at this kid anytime they see him with on defense, and it's gonna make you LeBron look bad. That's what Stephen A. Smith was saying. But see, I feel like LeBron could have handled this in a different way. I feel like LeBron could have. I feel like LeBron could have called Stephen A. Smith up on the phone or something like that, and handle it in that manner where he would have got him on the phone and had a conversation. That's what I feel like he could have did personally. He could have got Stephen A. Smith on the phone and had a conversation with him, but he didn't do it because number one, uh, I feel like LeBron did this to make a scene. He know it's gonna go viral. What's up, Gary? LeBron knows that this was gonna go viral. He knew that this was gonna make a scene. So I feel like that this is a thing he did personally so he can look like a good father. Like, oh well, a good father just protecting his son. But in actuality, to me, it makes him look bad. Makes him look bad. In my personal opinion, Bron knows that the cameras is out, and it's like, keep my son. It's like, come on, do you see Michael Jordan going around telling people, Jeffrey, what's his name, Jeffrey Jordan, just got in trouble with the law and was out there, it wasn't cocaine, but it was some other drugs. You didn't hear Michael Jordan telling the world, hey, keep my son. No, it's not that he probably doesn't care. It's just a lesson learned here. When you want to step up to a level of playing college or pro basketball, any type of boxing, we judged Tank's boxing fight last week when he fought against Roach. We judged that. We critiqued it. We've been critiquing it all the time. Are we not allowed to do that? They said this kid cannot get any of that if he only scared to play one quarter with 4 minutes left in the game. That's why he's shining in the G League. He's sitting here on the bench from the first half to the second half. How he's going to ever get any type of yeah, yeah. Uh, well, I actually agree with your statement there. I agree with your statement. I agree with your statement. I agree with it right there. I actually agree with your statement. I agree. I agree with that statement. That statement makes a lot of sense. What you just said makes a lot of sense. He has to be able to get some time in the game. He has to be able to play. If he isn't playing, then how is he going to grow, right? But he's not going to be able to grow, on the Lakers, because they're trying to contend to actually, win a championship or whatever. So you can't put Bronny James in that situation. I don't care what kind of narrative it is because, uh, he's not ready for it. So I actually agree with that statement. However, that's what Stephen A. Smith basically said. He needs to be in the G League where he's able to cultivate uh, his skills. He's able to work on his craft, and therefore, maybe in the future or so, he'll be able to be a great basketball player. But that ain't what Bronny. That ain't what LeBron said. LeBron said he's ready to go now. LeBron said he's ready to go now, and he was better than half the players in the NBA. And so, based upon those words, we looked at the situation and said, okay, well, Bron must be, he must know something that we don't know, and so everybody was all hyped up about seeing the Bronny. and Bronny James and his son on the court, and it just didn't turn out like the way Bron said it would turn out. It didn't turn out that way. They said billionaires do lame. I mean, that was the lamest thing I think I've ever could have did. I think I've ever could have seen. It didn't turn out the way Bron said it was. I think it was during the game. He said he sat up and he had league pass and he was watching on his off day some of the players play, and Bron said that uh, Bronny is better than half those players that he's seen. And when we get out here and we see that, he's really just standing on the wing, he's bricking up a bunch of threes. He don't really know how to attack the basket, properly. So we see all these little flaws in his game, and we just really don't. We really, I mean, Dalton Connect was really their best player, huh? Dalton Connect was really their best player, out of the draft, right? But they spent more time talking to Bronny because why? Bronny is marketable. I think 5 years in the G League he'll be fit. Look how long it took LeBron to become a 3-point shooter. Yeah. Well, at the end of his career, LeBron is a little bit better of a 3-point shooter, yeah, it's gonna take time, man. But he walked up on Stephen A. Smith like this was a boxing match. He walked up on Stephen A. Smith like he was gonna really do something. And I was like, I dare you do it. Swing on him. Cause the bronze sexuals would have went on and justified it and said, yeah, he needed to be hit. Anything to, butt fluff this man. You know what I'm saying? Anything to butt fluff this man. Is this one of the bronze sexuals from the Philippines that's going to get banned? That's what it looks like because most of his fan base is in the Philippines, and they're the ones that think he's the greatest player that ever played the game, even though he lost 6 times in the NBA Finals. What does this have to do with anything concerning LeBron James? All right, so we're gonna go ahead right on now, and we're gonna let you go ahead on and get banned. Let's go ahead and ban you now. Boom. That's how you do. That's how we handle you. Filipino fans are outrageous, man. They don't even know the game of basketball. I don't even see anybody wearing LeBron James shoes, but the Michael Jordan shoes are being worn to this day. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Bronny isn't ready. Stephen A. Smith didn't say anything wrong, and Bronny isn't ready. Let's look at this. Let me play it one more
That
time.
wasn't a
Let's look. Let's
basketball
look.
player confronting me. That was a parent.
Let's look what Stephen
That
A.
was a
Smith had to say
father.
about this.
And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. You're exposing your son like this? I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you.
Now here they go right there. They stop right there. You hear Stephen A. Smith saying that I would never speak anything negatively about your. You need brother to help you. Jay, help. Come here. Yeah. So he didn't say anything negative. Why don't you help find just something at Roblox y'all can join? Help find something at Roblox y'all can join on this line. Yeah. So there's nothing negative that Stephen A. Smith said. Um, There's nothing negative that he said at all. He basically just said that he would say nothing that was negative about Bronny. He's talking about his game. What would be something negative? Something negative would be something, like a personal slander or a personal attack. He didn't say anything about his character. He didn't say anything about his looks, his education, his background. He didn't say anything of that nature. The only thing he said was based upon him looking at the stat sheet, him looking at film, because the two ways you can judge the game of basketball is looking at the stat sheets, or Film. That's the other way. You can look at the film and just tell that this guy isn't ready. So LeBron is like, well, hey, you gonna shake my son's confidence. And it's like, look, what if Bronny had a problem? If Bronny had a problem with LeBron, I mean with Stephen A, then Bronny is a grown man. So Bronny should have been the one handling that. Oh, absolutely. I agree. LeBron James is the most weakest. And it wasn't just a couple, Leroy. It was a couple of weeks ago. We had the All Star weekend, right? It was a week before last, the All Star weekend, and LeBron said something to the extent where he's tired of the NBA players being criticized or something like that. And he agreed with his boy Channing Frye. And he would have never approached a white journalist like that. I agree. But he said something like nostalgia, 90s basketball is killing the NBA. The Jordan comparisons. Well, you're the one that was called yourself the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. LeBron James called himself the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. Yet, on top of that, once he gets judged by some of the greatest players or sports analysts or podcasters who were former players and compare, he doesn't like the comparison anymore. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that all of a sudden now LeBron doesn't want to, he doesn't want the criticism, he doesn't want anyone critiquing his game after he called himself the greatest player to ever play the game. So immediately, when you say I'm the greatest player to ever play the game, then Michael Jordan never did that. Michael Jordan literally said this. MJ said, listen, when they asked him on the greatest player to ever play the game, he said, I myself can't do it. I can't actually sit up here and say that I'm the greatest player because I feel like that is disrespecting the players that um, are before me because I didn't get a chance to play against Bill Russell, Wilt, Jerry West, and some of those guys, in that. So he's like, we really don't know. And he's like, so that you really can't sit up here and say it but what did LeBron do? LeBron got up here after when they finally beat the Golden State Warriors in 2016, and he said, well, that one right there made me the greatest player to ever play the game. Those are his own words. I've never heard a player in NBA history say something like that. So, you know, he kind of put himself out of the GOAT discussion, but him saying those words, he put a target on his back, and immediately Scottie Pippen, Isaiah Thomas, and a lot of people came and said, listen, okay, Bron, you kind of putting yourself out of it. You're putting yourself out of it because you can't say you're the greatest player of all time. You got to let someone else say it. Yeah, where was this when they were dissing the 80s and 90s? That's a good point. That's a good point. They've been dissing the 80s and 90s for a very, very long time. That there was a movement going on talking about we done with the 90s. And you didn't see LeBron James. That's a very good point, bro. You brought that up. I am so glad you brought that up. You didn't hear LeBron James or any of these new players. They were laughing on a podcast. You didn't hear them coming on and saying, we can't sit up and disrespect the 90s because if it wasn't for the 90s, we wouldn't be here today as the players that we are. We wouldn't have these shoe contracts if it wasn't for the Jordans and all the other Magic Johnsons and all these other players. You are correct about that. That I give you 100 points about that right there. I give you 100 points right there because when they were judging the 90s and they were talking about 90s basketball or Michael Jordan didn't have a left or this that and the other, Michael Jordan couldn't go left or he didn't play against zone defense or this and all these other things, they never said anything. When the 80s and 90s speak up, you are absolutely correct. It's a problem. Yep, someone said NBA record of turnovers. Right, you can't mention that. If you mention that, what's crazy about that? What they're gonna say is, well, he only has the most turnovers because he played the longest. Well, he only has the most points because he played the longest also. playing the game for 100 years and stat padding, playing no defense and complaining to the refs. Oh, absolutely. That's another thing. Like, am I supposed to be really like because before 2003 23 before 2023 there was nobody saying that whoever had the most points scored would be the greatest player of all time. Before 2023, before LeBron James broke that record, I think it was in February when he broke the record. No one was saying that what it would take for a player to be the greatest player of all time would be the one that has the most points. Because if that's the case, Michael Jordan would have never been in the GOAT conversation because it would have been still Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the one that he beat. So it would have been LeBron versus Kareem. That's what it would have been. LeBron James versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? That's what we would have been talking about. But they weren't talking about LeBron James versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan, by your argument, shouldn't be in the GOAT conversation because he didn't have as close amount of points as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You think he'd still be playing if he won 8 titles? Oh, absolutely. Well, the only reason why LeBron is playing, if LeBron feels like he's the GOAT and he has nothing else to prove, why is he still playing? If LeBron James is the GOAT, he's the greatest player of all time. He has nothing else to prove. Why is he still, what is this, his 23rd season? Anybody know? 22nd or 23rd or something like that? Why is he still playing? Because Michael Jordan, he had retired after the first three-peat and said he had nothing left to prove. Too big to be getting off the floor every game. Man, it's sickening, man. It's sickening. When in 1993, when Michael Jordan proved, he said he had nothing else to prove. There was nothing, and he didn't even have the most championships. Magic still had two more championships than him. Magic Johnson, you got who else? Bill Russell. There was still people who had more championships, and Michael Jordan said he had nothing else to prove after he retired in 1993. So with that being said, uh, why is it that LeBron James is still playing basketball right now? His fan says he has nothing left to prove, but LeBron feels like he has something to prove. You know what it is? He knows he's not the GOAT. He knows it. He's playing to try to catch Jordan. They're trying to their best to give him another ring. Well, yeah, but how's he gonna catch Jordan? Because um, what's the rapper Mace, right? I'm gonna go ahead on and I gotta put this on the screen, man. I'm gonna do a live on this tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna do a live on this tomorrow. Anybody familiar with or you remember the rapper Mace from Bad Boys? Let me know in the comment section. Well, with P Diddy and everybody. So he's on a podcast with Cameron last night, and they're talking about the 50,000 points that LeBron James scored. Yeah, after the three P. Yeah, and so Mace said that. Listen, he said that no, uh, 50,000 points doesn't make me put him in the GOAT conversation. Mace said this. He said it's also the ways that he got to where he got. For example, he said LeBron James is linked up with all these players. He's linked up with Anthony Davis, linked up with Luka Doncic, linked up with D Wade, Chris Bosh, and all these other players to try to get all the way to the top. And he said when we look at that situation, he went to all these different teams just to try to catch Jordan, but that's not what Jordan did. Jordan stayed with one team, went through adversity. When they sunk, he went down with them, and when they rose, he rose with them. And so people remember that, what I'm saying, because it's faithfulness to his team. LeBron James has no faithfulness to his team. It's like, okay, if the Heat doing well, if they ain't doing well, I'm over here. And it's like, so when you look at the storyline, it's like, how can you compare him to Jordan? And not only just the narrative, like you saying, my man, he lost 6 times in the NBA Finals. He lost. So it's like, how is he even in the GOAT conversation with losing six? I know Jerry West has the most finals losses, right? Jerry West has the most final losses. But here's the thing. LeBron has lost with the most superstar help. LeBron James has lost with the most superstar help in NBA history. LeBron James has lost with the most superstar help in NBA history. You go to the people are trying to act like we didn't see LBJ moves. He messed himself up. If he's just stayed, he probably well, yeah, that's what Mace was saying. He was like, okay, if he would have just stayed in Cleveland, right? Um, you know what I'm saying, and won 5 championships in Cleveland, and not try to build these super teams that we probably would respect him more. At least the ones before Michael Jordan were like, this guy is unbelievable. That's what makes me say Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Oh yeah, the game. Yeah, there's nothing that that the only person that actually electrifies me in terms of the way he plays right now is Steph Curry, right? Okay, because when Mike played, he would do certain things, and you'll be like, man, how did he do that? Yesterday, did you see Steph Curry when he was in midcourt, right, and he had a fadeaway 3-point shot? Most Hall of Famers definitely. Yeah, you said Jerry didn't have a center until Wilt, but okay, even with that being said, compare Jerry West's help to LeBron James's help. Compare their help. Compare the help because let's just say right now, Bron fans are saying that Nick Wright is saying that LeBron has never had this type of help in his career. So the Luka Doncic, are you kidding me? Anthony Davis, before he was traded, you remember the game in Charlotte where he dropped 42 points? Do you remember that Anthony Davis in 2020 led the LA Lakers in points, rebounds, blocks, and steals? LeBron led in assists in all 5 major categories. So to me, MJ has never had a player like that. Nikola Jokic, 31 points, 22 assists. Oh, yeah, there we go. I did a video today on that. Nikola Jokic, 20. Yeah, we did that video on that. Nikola Jokic, because Kendrick Perkins said that LeBron is better than Nikola. You remember the commercial with Kobe and Kanye when Kanye said, how many records can my records break? And Kobe said, more records. And Kanye said, but I'm the best. And Kobe said, but you are a different animal. And it said, yeah, dude took that literally and he trying to break all. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Jerry played one team. I respect Jerry. Yeah. Yo, well, listen, Dwayne Wade, I posted a video earlier this week on a podcast, said that the reason why him and LeBron teamed up was because of Kobe. That was the reason why they teamed up. It was because of Kobe. He said when Kobe got his 5th championship, D Wade said he got pissed off. And he said that or LeBron called him on the phone, and he said that they felt like they were being left up in the pack and they needed to join forces. And that's just totally different from Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never, when Magic had 5 or whatever, hit him up and, said, well, hey, man, let's join together. Let's, to beat Isaiah Thomas. Let me join Joe Dumars. Let me join Charles Barkley. Let me join, Patrick Ewing and get these championships because the road to prosperity is rememberable. Because one of the things about me, I remember uh the journey of Michael Jordan's career. I remember in the 80s, man, at the Chicago Stadium when, it was like, yeah, man, this team sucked. You had Orlando Woolridge and them guys on the team. That team sucked, man. That team was terrible. The cocaine era. But so Michael didn't get up and request to be traded. He played his guts out and he believed that he was the best player, right? Then look at what Michael Jordan had to go through. The bad boy Pistons, the Boston Celtics, he had to go through the Pacers, the Miami Heat with Alonzo Mourning, the New York Knicks with Ewing, Dominique Wilkins. All his road to prosperity was much more memorable, right? Because he didn't go stack up the team, right? And then try to, join forces and then, beat these teams. MJ modeled and mode. Oh yeah, he molded Pippen. Yeah, absolutely. But you better not tell Scottie Pippen that. You better not tell Scottie Pippen that MJ molded him because Scottie feels that I mean, they complimented each other once Scottie gets to that level, but Scottie right now is tripping. Scottie right now feels that he was the best player on the Chicago Bulls, even though he doesn't have any MVPs, even though he doesn't have any Finals MVPs, even though he doesn't have any scoring titles or anything of that nature. Scottie Pippen feels that he is the best player on the Chicago Bulls, right? And so Scotty actually said in a podcast that if he didn't play with Michael Jordan, he would have played in Atlanta, he would still have 6 rings, which we know that's absurd. The '80s were full of great teams, and it was, and even if you feel that those '80s teams weren't uber talented, what you do have to realize is that those '80 teams played with with skill and strategy. They had schemes that they played by. The Breakfast Club, yeah, they had strategy. They had skill that they played with and by. These teams today, I'm listening to Gilbert Arenas and I'm listening to these guys, Jeff T making excuses saying that um, well, the NBA is different. You got centers more skilled just shooting threes, and so you don't have the big man. And so the old heads like us need to realize that that's just what it is. Like, well, because they got handles and et cetera. It's like, well, look, if you are, we get Carl Anthony Towns last night. There were moments where he had uh Luka Doncic in the paint, and he did pass the ball out. He didn't post him up. Do you think Shaq? Do you think Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Dikembe Mutombo, Hakeem Olajuwon would have allowed what's his name, Austin Reeves to shut him down, or LeBron James to shut him down? No. Carl Anthony Towns was a no-show last night. I believe he had 12 points. He had 12 freaking points last night. Carl Anthony Towns. Yet the NBA players today are better. This is what you guys are saying than they were in the '80s and '90s. There is no way on God's green earth that Dikembe Mutombo, right, or Shaq, or Hakeem, Patrick, or David Robinson, Rick Smith, any of those players would get shut down by Austin Reeves. Oh yeah, yeah. Guild is paid by Clutch. You said there. Well, yeah, he doesn't want to admit that. He doesn't want to admit that he's paid by Clutch. But obviously there's something that's going on. There's obviously something going on. Moses Malone, yeah, great point. That's what I'm saying. So there were times last night that Carl Anthony Towns had me so frustrated because he got all the God given talent. He has the size for it, but he scored 12 points. And this is the second time that he did this against the LA Lakers. It's the second time. He did it in New York. He was in foul trouble, which I believe the refs gave him some fouls to try to throw him out of his rhythm. But what? But if you're only going to score 12 points, how are you going to win? And then how are you going to say that? Yeah, I think he said he was one of the best big men in NBA history with 12 points when the Lakers don't have a legitimate center. Jackson Hayes. Do you think that Shaq? He would have had Jackson Hayes laying on the floor crying for mama. That's what would have happened if Jackson Hayes was guarding Shaquille O'Neal, because Shaquille O'Neal made them dudes cry. He bowled them, bodied them, dunked all on them. And so it's like when you look at the situation, how can you necessarily say it's more? But me saying this, you said that, oh well, the spacing is better because Adam Silver is trying to promote advanced analytics. They don't understand we saw in and out. If you I don't know if you spoke on this before, but the craziest thing says the craziest thing I heard is Pippen carried Jordan. Yeah, yeah. Well, I did say that. I did say that. A lot of people say that Pippen carried Jordan, but you know what? Let's just take that narrative, even though we know it's false. Who is the Lakers are being carried by Luka Doncic? If you look up the stats right now, when Luka Doncic is on the court, the Lakers are a +7. When Luka Doncic is off the court, they are a negative. They are a -9. So if LeBron was the best player on the Lakers, why is it that with Luka off the court they are a -9, but with Luka on the court they are a +7? That's telltale. So to me, what that means is that the few games that Luka has been on the court, he is carrying the Lakers. In fact, he outscored LeBron in plenty of the games that they've played already. LeBron has taken the most shots. Okay, LeBron has taken the most shots, yet he trails. Comes second in scoring to Anthony Davis when Anthony Davis is on the team. That game, he ran up and down the floor like Ewing right now. Yeah, yeah. LeBron is he's a when he's on the court and Luca is not on the court, they are a -9. During the game, they put this stat up. I made sure I screenshot it, took a picture of it, and I put it in my video for yesterday so that the Bron fans can see it. That means that little to no impact is had when LeBron is on the court. Cherry picking and scoring, stat padding. My NBA script as an owner, they need. He said they need. Let me see. I'm trying to see what we were saying here. Let's see. Let's see. Said my NBA script as an owner, they need MJ to be erased so that they can move on from the past. Lakers versus Celtics. This is what you believe. Well, no. So here's the thing. I partially agree with you with that, right? I partially agree. I partially agree with you with that. This is why I partially agree with you with that. Uh, right now. This is why I partially agree with you with that right now. Think about this, right? Who has the highest selling shoe? This is my question to you. Michael Jordan, right? They can't move on from Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan has the highest selling shoe, right? And so to this day, no one's wearing LeBrons. These kids are coming out, never seen MJ play. They're still going to the store buying Michael Jordans. So they can't move on from the GOAT because in that situation, you're not going out there and buying bronze. So the MJ, to me, they need him to be the GOAT. Bronze been playing great defense. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from? Do I need to put it on here what the stats show? Because okay, Christian, I'm gonna rebuttal you on this. Bron fans always use stats, right? In order to explain why he's so great. So now, with that being said, if the stats show that when Luca is on the court, that LeBron James, that they're a +9 with Luca on the court, a +7. I'm sorry, +7, but a -9 when he's off and LeBron's on the court. That means that Luca is more valuable to this team than LeBron. But the media is lying to you. Stats don't show the stats don't show the whole story. Then duh, we've been saying that means LeBron James 50,000 points don't mean a damn thing if stats don't show the full story. But these analytics aren't lying. The analytics aren't lying. It shows when Luca is on the court, they are a +7. Can you explain that to me? But when Luca is off the court, they are a -9. Can you explain that to me? That doesn't tell the whole story. Okay, who leads the Lakers in turnovers? Do you know? Nah, I don't think he still would be. I don't think. Who leads the LA Lake? Who leads the Lakers in turnovers? Who has the most turnovers since 2019? Now it's too late to do that because LeBron already lost 6 times in the NBA Finals. Now they like to keep this discussion going so that they can profit off of it financially. There's always going to be them comparing somebody to Michael Jordan. There's always going to be them comparing someone to Michael Jordan. But here's the thing: you who had 8 turnovers in one game? LeBron James had 8 turnovers in one game. LeBron James had 8 turnovers when he scored 40 points. Okay, so LeBron is averaging about 4 turnovers per game, right? So if he's averaging about he's leading them in turnovers. And then when Luca is on the court, they're a +7. When he's off, they are a -9. And he had 11 in one game. So how is stats not telling? How can we ignore these stats? He's the all-time leader in turnovers. How do we? He has the most missed shots. He's taken the most shots since he's been a Laker, right? And has the most missed shots on the Lakers. Oh yes, yes, Ryan, I agree. I watched the games. LBJ ain't playing no defense. He does cherry pick. Yeah. Uh, I saw several plays where he didn't get back on defense. He just stayed down. And when Luca got the rebound, Luca throws a touchdown pass all the way to the other end, and then LeBron gets the layup, and then they butt fluff, and then they go, "Oh, LeBron and Luca, look at the pass." Well, it was easy for him to throw that pass down there because he never got back on defense. He stayed back down. Every now and then he gets a good chase down block and may play some help defense. But who are they playing against? He not stopping no Morant and none of those type of guys that are just too fast for him. That's not happening. See, that's the crazy thing about Braun fans. They say don't listen to the stats. Stats don't tell the whole story. Oh, really? So if stats don't tell the whole story, and maybe Jordan doesn't have some of the stats that LeBron has, but he got more titles, he got more Finals MVPs, he got more rings, he has more scoring titles. Then obviously, and he has the highest game finals average in NBA history, 41 points a game in 1993, the highest regular season average per game. Then obviously the stats aren't telling the whole story when you doing this comparison. What? Are you sure about that? Are you sure that LeBron had a better plus minus when he was on the court? Do you need me to? Do I need to debunk that? Do I need to debunk that? Because I can debunk that right now. I can debunk that right now. Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, before Anthony Davis was traded to the LA Lakers, he was leading them. As a matter of fact, we're gonna bring this analytic. I'm gonna bring this analytic up right now. Uh, I'm gonna bring up the analytic right now. Let's bring it up right now. So we just go ahead on, and we're gonna prove you wrong on that one too. No, I don't got to go back and look. I got the stats right here. I got the stats right here. I got the numbers right here. All right. I'm gonna bring it up right here. Okay. Let's bring it up. I don't got to go back and look. I'm bringing it right up. Here it is right here. Okay. Before Anthony Davis was traded to Dallas, he was leading the Lakers in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. Okay. Anthony Davis was averaging 25.7 points per game, 11.9 rebounds per game, while LeBron was averaging 8.5 assists, still with 4 turnovers per game, right? Davis, 2 steals per game. Okay, so I'm looking at the stats right here. I'm looking at them. So that means he was leading them in points, rebounds, and steals and blocks, while LeBron James led in assists and turnovers. So if he was leading them in all five major categories, how was his plus minus negative when he was leading them in those categories? The only category that LeBron led in was assists at 8.5 a game. So we just debunked what you just said. You just debunked what you just said, just right there. Davis was in MVP talks before he got traded. Anthony Davis was in MVP talks before he got traded and injured. Um, as a the first game as a Dallas, he played a half of a game. But before Anthony Davis, before the trade deadline got here, he was one of the top 5 or 10 players in the NBA. I'm going to say top 5. He was leading them in scoring, leading them in rebounds at 11.9 per game, leading them in steals, leading them in blocks. He didn't have a negative plus minus. Right. This you know what I'm saying? So these Brown fans just be talking and they don't even have the but they gonna tell me to go look it up. But I did okay. Let's look. Let's look at this. Let's bring this up. I'm gonna bring it up on my bring it up here. All right. Uh I just told you if Anthony Davis was the one that led them in all major categories, how did he have a negative? How does he have a negative plus minus? Let's see. Let's see. Anthony. Let's bring it up right now. Let's bring it up right now. Anthony Davis has a plus minus of 30 this season. Anthony Davis has a fucking plus minus of 30. LeBron James has a plus minus of a negative 121 this season. I just brought it up. I just looked it up and brought it up. Anthony Davis has a plus minus of 30, even though he's out. Okay. He led the Lakers in all major categories except assists, points, rebounds, blocks, and steals. LeBron led in assists. He has a negative 121 in plus minus. Okay. Anthony Davis has a plus 30. Now, the Lakers, when AD was on the court, the Lakers were better, just like with Luca. Just like with Luca. It's the same thing. AD was better. When the Lakers were on the court, AD was better. Just like with Luca. When Luca's off the court, they're not better. We want a 40-year-old. That's another excuse. Then you shouldn't be playing in the NBA. You shouldn't be calling yourself the GOAT. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to Michael Jordan. That's just an excuse. Because listen, if he does do something, the Bron sexuals will butt fluff and be like, oh, look what he's doing at 40. That's how we debunk that. 1 minute, you can't have it both ways. At one moment, you can't sit up here and say, "Oh my God, no! Look what he's doing at 40." And then all of a sudden, when he's playing bad and he's averaging 4 turnovers a game, he has 11 turnovers in one game. Then the next narrative you have, well, he's 40. See, you can't have it both ways. Which one is it? Tell me, which one is it? Is it that is it that he's the best player in the NBA like right now? Because just like Kendrick Perkins was saying, he's the best player in the NBA right now. What is it? Is he better than SGA? Is he better than Nikola Jokic? Is he better than Giannis Antetokounmpo? Is he better than Steph Curry? Hell no. Yeah, hell no. MJ MJ took the third worst team, Wizards, and had them number one seed for the playoff. Oh yeah, and yeah, that's another great point. But Michael Nees, he didn't have all the load management. LeBron James has load managed half his career, right? LeBron James has load managed half his career. So MJ didn't have all the load management that LeBron James had. And in 22 seasons, LeBron James has only played 82 games one time. All 82 one time. Michael Jordan did it 9 times. He played 82 games 9 times and had two three-peats. Something LeBron did, including playoff games, something LeBron James has never done. And this is another reason why you can't compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan because they're two three-peats. He three-peated 2 times. Now, one, two, three. Retired, came back. One, two, three. See, that's greatness right there. Won three championships 2 times. He didn't talk about not one, not two, not three, not four. He didn't have to leave, go cheat the system. Mace said this. Mace said, Mace said this. Mace said this. He said, imagine going to the playground park and you get to pick your team, and there's some 7 footers out there, and you pick 3 of the 7 footers, and you guys go up against a bunch of people that's 5 feet, and y'all winning all the games. Is that impressive? No, you stacked your team. You stacked your team. That's literally what you did. You stacked your team. So it's like I'm not impressed because what you did was you gave yourself a favorable advantage, and that's really what he's been doing his whole career. He's been giving himself favorable advantages. He's played with Shaq. He's played with D Rose. He's played with Anthony Davis. He played with D Wade. He played with Chris Bosh. He's played with all these players. Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard. You name it. He's played with all of these guys. Russell Westbrook, once a generation, has the most triple doubles in NBA history, right? He's played with the guy. So you stack your teams in order to play against weaker competition and then call yourself the GOAT. Because that shows how terrible you are. Anytime you got to stack your team to try to go against who was this competition in the East? DeMar DeRozan? What does that got to do if he became a pastor? That's irrelevant that he became a pastor. What does that mean? Did he not state Facts. If May stated facts, then that's the facts are the facts. That's all that matters. If May stated facts, the facts are the facts. If May stated facts, the facts are the facts. This is the reason why he put Kobe Bryant over LeBron James. The reason why he put Kobe Bryant over LeBron James. There's a reason why he put Kobe Bryant over LeBron James. He said because Kobe didn't run. Kobe didn't run. Kobe didn't go. He wasn't out here saying, "Give me this, give me that, give me him, give me him, give me this." When the Lakers went down after Shaq, he went down with him, and then Kobe Bryant figured a way to get it up. That's what made K. Oh yeah. That's what made KD do it because when LeBron did it, KD did it. He's like, well, shoot, if LeBron can go over here and run everywhere to get his championships, to select all his players, get up and run, then let me run over here to Golden State. And then KD feels some type of way about those two rings because of the simple fact that everybody's called him out and said, well, you took the easy route. Now KD has really not won any championships since he left Golden State. It's the same thing with LeBron. Same thing with LeBron. No list has Kobe over LeBron. No list has Kobe over LeBron. Kobe didn't lose 6 times in the finals. I don't care about the media fed list. I don't care about the media fed list. Kobe didn't lose 6 times in the NBA finals at all. Threatening to leave and leaving is different. How many times you been with a girl and you threaten to leave and you ain't going nowhere? Threatening to leave and leaving is different. He did leave though. When the sink shut, he went down with it and he rose back with it and proved that he could win without Shaquille O'Neal. And he had Pau Gasol. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Did he get traded? No, he didn't. How many times you been with a girl and demanded to break up with her and stayed? If you stayed and even you fought and argued, but you worked it out. You're gonna be some arguments. I'm sure Michael Jordan had arguments with the Bulls organization, but they found a way to work it out. They figured out a way to work it out. And that's not LeBron. LeBron James left Miami. I posted a video today over the fact that over a lot of different things. He couldn't take the discipline that Pat Riley was enforcing. Pat Riley, Dwayne Wade said when he got on the plane, Pat Riley had them on a calorie deficit, and LeBron wanted to sit up and eat cookies. And so LeBron is not used to anybody standing up to him, having that type of structure like a Phil Jackson and stuff. So he got up and ran. That's just one of the reasons. He got up and ran, went back to Cleveland, and he stacked his team. Cleveland had got the number one pick in the draft. I'm not mistaken, right? Was it Andrew Wiggins? Was it Andrew Wiggins when he left? Oh, Kobe, yeah. Kobe's the most skilled. He's one of the most skilled and competitive. Yes, he is. He's up there with MJ. So they traded away the number one pick in the draft, a highly sought out Andrew Wiggins, and they ended up picking up Kevin Love. And Kevin Love, at that particular time, was one of the best players in the NBA. He was a walking double double. I'm gonna say it again. Kevin Love was a walking double double. You see how this is how LeBron rolls. He got to stack his teams. He got to stack his teams, and then Charles Barkley called him out on it. Charles Barkley said, "Hey, man, you want all the talent on your team. You want all the talent on your team. You don't want to compete." That's what Charles Barkley said. He said LeBron James wants all the talent on his team, and he don't want to compete because LeBron said that they were top heavy and they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough. Like he said it when they lost in. Remember on the podcast with JJ Redick before JJ became the coach, and LeBron said that the reason why they lost in 2011 to the Dallas Mavericks is because LeBron because the Heat were top heavy. No, you were the favorites to win going into the that series. Y'all were the favorites to win. Yeah, LeBron's not. That's why he stacks his teams. That LeBron is not competitive. That's why he stacks it. If he was competitive, he would say, "Look, I don't want Luca on this team. I want to beat Luca." He already had a top 75 player. Anthony Davis is a top 75 player in the NBA. He already had a top 75 player in the NBA, right? So if a competitive person to say, no, I want to beat Luca. I want to beat Luca. When Charles went there, they was old as dirt on, but LeBron was doing this in his prime. Charles wasn't doing that in his prime. Charles wasn't doing that in his prime. A competitor like MJ wanted to beat these guys. He wanted them to fear him. LeBron is in the buddy buddy system. LeBron is like, hey, look, okay, look, let me tell you. All right, Anthony Davis, you out of here. Anthony Davis is a top 75 NBA player of all time. Anthony Davis is a top 75 NBA player of all time. Of all time. And you got rid of a top 75 player of all time that was in the MVP conversation and traded him away for a player that's top three in the NBA right now. I've never seen this before. One of the most lopsided trades in NBA history, right? One of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. You traded them away for a top three player, right? And you end up getting a player who just led his team to the NBA, the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. This is what you guys did. This is what he did to show you how coward and non-competitive he is. And when Luca is on the floor, they are +7. When he's off the floor, so Luca has outscored LeBron in multiple games, and he is carrying the load. Look at the game last night. He's carrying the load. Gary Payton told Kobe to take the heart out of the other team's best player. And that's what Kobe was doing. That's what Kobe was doing. You gonna sit up here and act like LeBron didn't know nothing about the trade? Do you honestly believe LeBron didn't know anything about the trade? Number one, okay, when he got to this is the same LeBron when he got to the LA Lakers in 2019, requested and said himself he was recruiting Anthony Davis. He was recruiting Anthony Davis. This is the same LeBron that went to Miami to join up and play with D Wade. So do you honestly think that someone is signed to his agency in Clutch Sport, which Anthony Davis is signed to Clutch Sport, that is a top player, that they gonna just go and trade him away without consulting with LeBron? You know, you got to be drunk if you believe that. Yes, he knew about that trade. Yes, he knew about that trade. Yes, he knew about the trade. He knew about it. He knew about the trade. If the Lakers drafted Bronny James, right? They did everything that he wanted them to do, which we've been talking about earlier. They drafted Bronny James. Are you gonna sit up here and tell me that they didn't know anything, that he didn't know anything about the Luca trade? You cannot be that naive. Ain't And LeBron was quoted in the video saying that Luca is one of the best players that he always dreamed of playing. Well, what a coincidence. 2 years ago, he said he always dreamed of playing with Luca, and now he's playing with Luca. What a coincidence. When LeBron left the Cavs, they were the worst team, is what you got to say. Okay, why don't we talk about that? When LeBron left the Cavs, all the draft picks were depleted. Everything they had used to surround LeBron James with talent, right? So here we go. This is what happens. He handicapped him, number one. LeBron James handicapped the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is what he does. Same thing he did with LA. He can't when he got to LA, who did they have on there? Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle on there? I don't think it was. Lonzo Ball was there. I want to say who else was on there. Brandon Ingram was on the team also, right? He made them trade these guys away because he can't win with younger people. He needs to have someone that's a Hall of Famer. He needs to have all the All Stars, all these people on their team in order for him to win. That's what has to happen. In order for LeBron to win, he has to have all the superstar help, all the All Stars. Everybody got to be on his team in order for him to win. So they traded these players away. Uh, and they end up succeeding in other places. They end up being great players and thriving in other places, right? That's what happened. That's what happened. So the same thing happened in Cleveland. All of the draft picks that Dan Gilbert used and everything used when they traded those draft picks away, right? And they had all these players they kept swapping out. They had the highest payroll. Let's talk about this. They had the highest payroll in the NBA. Okay, they were in the luxury tax. And so when LeBron James left Cleveland, those parts also, that that he bankrupt the team. So they couldn't make any type of moves. They couldn't make any type of moves. That's what happened. Now Cleveland has been able to build their team back up since that particular time of LeBron James. Now they're finally looking good because now they got picks and they were able to move and put pieces together. But it took them forever. They sucked. They sucked because when LeBron James comes to the team, you got to draft. You got to put all your draft picks on the line because he can't win with what you got. He got to have a Luka, an Anthony Davis. He got to have a Kyrie Irving. He got to. He remember he cried and moaned when they didn't get Kyrie Irving last year when he couldn't get Kyrie Irving to come back. He sat there and cried. Yeah, look at the Cavs now. The Cavs are the best team in the NBA, and they don't even want to talk about it. The only thing they want to do is butt fluff the Lakers. They don't even want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. The only thing they want to talk about is the LA Lakers. But the Cleveland Cavaliers right now are the best team in the NBA outside of who else? OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder. They finally recuperated from being hijacked by LeBron James. LeBron James hijacked them. Had all those, had D Wade come over, had all Kevin Love, he had them in a bind financially. Struggle and not win. See, that's the thing. That's just what Mace was saying earlier. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. And it wasn't like they wasn't really winning because they was getting their butts whipped by Steph Curry. Steph Curry was knocking them out every time you look at it. Boom, boom. Every time you look at it, Steph Curry was beating LeBron in the finals. And the only thing LeBron sexuals could say was, well, LeBron came back 3-1. Okay. Yeah, okay, he came back 3-1. But out of the four times they played, Steph Curry beat him 3-1. Out of the four times they played, Steph Curry beat him 3-1. Hey, LBG, Steph Curry beat him. So I take the same argument and I say, well, okay, if they were in the fight four times and Steph Curry beat him 3-1, who's better? If if Steph Curry beat him three times and he only won one time, is three not greater than one? People forget that Jordan never won until he had Scotty. Until he had, look what you said, Scotty. Scotty, who averaged 17 points a game. Do you think that Scottie Pippen is better than Luka Doncic? Do you think that Scottie Pippen is better than Anthony Davis? Do you think that Scottie Pippen is better than D Wade? Do you think that Scottie Pippen is better than Kyrie Irving? No, no, he isn't. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He averaged 17 points per game. And he was a very really good all around player in terms of defense and everything like that. But Michael Jordan was the one that had to assist the score and had to do it. Yes, Michael Jordan assisted the score more than half of their points. Michael Jordan had to carry the show. He had to do most of the scoring in those finals to get those finals MVPs. Not Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was holding his back, talking about, oh, my back, oh, my back. Yeah, when Rodman came over, he was 33. That's all you got. That's all you got is Dennis Rodman. You got anybody else? Because I just named you. So is Dennis Rodman better than Carmelo? Is Dennis Rodman better than Carmelo? Is Dennis Rodman better than Carmelo because LeBron James played with Carmelo? Is Dennis Rodman better than Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook, future Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards in NBA history. Michael Jordan never had a point guard. He had B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, and freaking Steve Kerr. He had B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, and freaking Steve Kerr on his team. That's who we had. That's the talent that he had. B.J. Armstrong, Steve Kerr, John Paxson. So are you telling me those guards are better than Kyrie Irving and better than Russell Westbrook? Please tell me. Who underestimated Scotty? He could not win but once he had one other All Star, he won three rings before Rodman got there. He won three championships before Rodman got there. So you said Rodman, he had won three rings. What other All Star did he have on his team? What other All Star in 91, 92, and 93 that Jordan had on his team? Name him. Name him, because it wasn't. The only All Star he had was Scottie Pippen. who averaged 17 points a game. The only All Star Michael Jordan had in his first three-peat was Scottie Pippen. The other people, Craig Hodges, Bill Cartwright, uh, Will Purdue, the John Paxton, Corey Blunt, those type of people, you had never even heard of them before. Uh, yes, what is, huh? Those are the people that Michael Jordan had on his team. Those are the people he had on his team. You know, Horace Grant, which wasn't an All Star. Horace Grant averaged 9 points a game. He wasn't an All Star. So Michael Jordan, his first three NBA titles, he had one All Star on that team: 91, 92, 93, and that was Scottie Pippen. LeBron James' first title, he had three All Stars on his team, including himself. He had him, who was a Hall of Famer. He had D Wade, who already won a championship and NBA title before he got there, right? And three, who else? Chris Bosh, who was a multiple time All Star. Horace Grant wasn't an All Star when Michael Jordan played with him. Look it up, sir. Horace Grant made the All Star team in 1994 when Michael Jordan retired. Bingo. Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? Do we need to type in what years did Horace Grant make the All Star team? Okay, we can do it right now. Okay, let's look it up. What year did Horace Grant make the All Star? Oh, let's look it up. Horace Grant made the All Star team. Horace Grant made the All Star team in 1994. Michael Jordan was retired. Horace Grant made the All Star team in 1994 while Michael Jordan was retired. So in 1991, 1992, and 1993, Michael Jordan didn't have Horace Grant have any other All Star except Scottie Pippen. But he averaged what, 17 points a game, right? Okay. So now Horace Grant averaged what, 12 points a game? That wouldn't have been enough for LeBron James to win. That would not have been enough for LeBron James to win. They won All Stars when they no, they weren't. He didn't make it All Star. It was he didn't make an All Star in 1991, 92, 93. The only other All Star he had was Scottie Pippen. Now look at LeBron James's title run. Okay, so Miami he had three All Stars, right, including himself. Okay, in Cleveland he had three All Stars, including himself. Kevin Love, he had Kyrie and himself, right? And then let's look at the year that they yeah, so he had multiple all-stars on those championship teams. Career points 12,000, 11 points per game, 2,000 assists. They don't need to be all-stars. In LeBron Ramon James case, they need to be all-stars. In LeBron Ramon James case, they need to be all-stars. Then make sure you hit the like button when you're in too, for me. If you want to send a super thanks, you can. Raw Sports TV 23. You want to see a cash app, you can. Raw Sports TV 23. Yes. LeBron James has to win with all stars and Hall of Famers. Let's look at his team right now, right? Austin Reeves had several games. Austin Reeves had 40-point games, 30-point games. What player on the Bulls team, right? What player on the Bulls team in 1991, 92, 93, outside of Michael Jordan, had several 30-point, 40-point games? So there are games where not only did Anthony Davis drop 40, but you had Austin Reeves dropping 30 and getting 8 free throws and beating LeBron in scoring. So Michael never had no players like that. Michael had to carry that load all by himself. That makes Michael greater. That makes Michael greater. You got to have a team. We admit that you got to have a team and some role players, but in LeBron James' case, he got to have a he's got to have a Facebook monster team in order to succeed. That's the whole thing. He needs to have everybody on his team. He need to have everybody on his team in order for him to succeed. Otherwise, he's not going to succeed. That's just the way it is. LBJ is not going to succeed if he don't have everybody on his team. And so, going back to the very beginning, going back to the very beginning, these are the reasons why he gets so sensitive, because all the facts that we stated are true. All the facts we stated are true. What Stephen A. Smith said about him is true. What Stephen A. Smith said about Bronny James is true. He said Bronny James needs to develop. We're going way back to the beginning. And this man walked up on him like he wanted to fight. Oh, yeah, that's a great point. LeBron James also played in the Eastern Conference. The Bulls was a super team. When was the Bulls a super team? 1991, 92, 93. You call that a super team? Let's look at the Bulls roster. Let's look at the Bulls roster on the first three-peat. Let's look at the 1991 Bulls roster. Let's look at this roster, right? I want to see. Oh, I want to see who the super team is. I love when you Bron sexuals just be talking stuff. He said they was a super team. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at the roster, right? Okay, here goes the Bulls roster in 1991. B.J. Armstrong. That sound like a super team player. Bill Cartwright, right? Okay, Horace Grant, right? Is that super? Dennis Hobson, Stacy King, Cliff Leviston, John Paxton, Will Purdue, Scott Williams, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan. That's a super team. That's a super team. That's a super team. After Rodman, definitely a super team. Well, why am I picking? Okay, I'm gonna Black Magic. Let's reply back to you. So we wouldn't really be focused on Bronny, but LeBron James said that Bronny was better than half the players as a 55th pick. And when he was watching League Pass, he said that Bronny was better than half the players in the NBA. So now we're paying attention to Bronny. Now all of a sudden the narrative is, well, he was the 55th pick. Well, what the hell that got to do? His daddy said that he was better than half the teams in the NBA. So if half the teams he's better than half the players in the NBA, then why all of a sudden now you want to throw up the 55th pick? Because at the 55th pick, he should have came in busting tails. He should have came in crossing them over. He should have came in and he should have been 0 for 19 for 3-point shots. That don't sound like a top player. That don't sound like, I mean, I'm sorry, a player that your daddy say is better than half the players. They're 0 for 19 for 3-point, 0 for 20. It took him 24 misses to miss. It took him 24 misses to get his first 3-point shot. Did that sound like better than half the players? So yeah, you're gonna get criticized. The comments were before his son almost. What does that have to do with anything? Right now, he said his son is better. So the cardiac arrest is the reason why he can't play. Are you serious? He said that's the excuse now. Because then he came back and said his son is good. And then before the cardiac arrest, he shouldn't even have been on the college team. He was averaging what, 3 points a game, 4 points a game. That was talent that was far better than him in college. Hyping your son up is one thing, but hyping your son up is one thing, but coming out and disrespecting NBA players by saying that he's already better than half the players that are playing on League Pass is another thing. That's disrespecting. And that's why when you look at it, Tyrese Maxey bust him down. Tyrese Maxey destroyed him. And that's what led up to this Stephen A. Smith ordeal. Stephen A. Smith saw that game and said, "I'm pleading with you to get your son out. You got a target on his back." Tyrese Maxey saw him, did a step back, and had him on skates. JJ Redick embarrassed him, embarrassed the man, embarrassed the man. Remember Kobe at 19 and Bronny at 20 at 21. Oh, Kobe was better. Kobe was better. Kobe just didn't get a chance because the Lakers were they were definitely top heavy, and so he didn't get a chance to really display his talent all the way. He's coming off the bench, but he wasn't as. You can't compare Bronny to him. Yeah, Bronny is not a star. Have I seen him in the G League? Have I seen him in the G League? I seen him. I seen him in the G League, right? I'm not, and he had some great games. But I've also seen him playing against trash teams because when you get back up to the NBA and they do put him in the game, he can't do it. He can't do that stuff. He can't do none of that stuff. Bronny went and dropped 30 points in the G League against a team that had a losing record. And the Bronze Jackson was, yeah. Did you see Bronny? All right, yeah. Yeah, he 30 points, yeah. Came back up that night and Tyrese Maxey gave it to him. They had to send him back to the G League. Said, no, no, we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait. No, no, we're gonna have to wait. We can't do this to you, whippersnapper. We can't do it to you. We gotta protect you. We don't want your daddy, doing what your daddy did. Your daddy went off on Stephen A. Smith for saying that he's a good guy, remarkable kid, nice kid, but he ain't ready for the NBA right now. And his daddy got all hot and bothered and mad. His daddy got hot, bothered, and mad and wanted to fight a 60-some-year-old man or however old Stephen A. Smith is. That show you how weak LeBron James is. That show you how weak LeBron James is. That shows you how weak LeBron James is. Who was guarding him? You probably don't even know who was guarding the man. He had multiple good games in the G League. You don't even know who was guarding him. Yeah, he Jordan's teams that he won against are not on the same level as Bron's opponents. Uh, you must be drunk. You must be drunk. First of all, LeBron couldn't even get out of the Eastern Conference until he stacked his teams. LeBron James, I'm going to debunk that. So LeBron James went up against who was that? Dwight Howard. LeBron James went up against Dwight Howard, and he do Turkaloo and got beat. Right? The Orlando Magic. Dwight Howard sent LeBron home. You think Michael Jordan would have let he do Turkaloo and Dwight Howard send him home and prevent them from having the ultimate matchup they wanted? Right? You remember the ultimate matchup? They prevent them from having the Kobe versus LeBron, but he couldn't get there because he do Turkaloo. He do Turkaloo, and Dwight Howard sent him home. I remember that. He do Turkaloo. And Jameer Nelson. It was Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu, and Dwight Howard sent it home. And guess what Kobe did? Orlando got to that. Kobe swept them. Kobe turned around and swept them 4-0. Kobe turned around and swept him 4-0. But LeBron James went home. He quit on his team. Quit on his team. Gave up. Since you want to talk about, and you want to talk about, yeah, well, it was Dwight Howard, really? And then Dwight Howard talked stuff saying, man, they overlooked us, man. We wasn't about to let him, we wasn't about to let the league do that. We let LeBron know we here. He wasn't no dang on Shaq. That's a lie. He was good, but he wasn't no Shaq. But Kobe, my point is, Kobe turned around and swept him 4-0. Kobe turned around and swept him. Now, could you imagine if Michael Jordan in the 1991, 92, 93 Chicago Bulls had to go up against Dwight Howard or the 94, or the 95, 96, 97, the last three-peat. Do you think that they would have let Dwight Howard beat them and stop them from getting to the finals? Do you think that Michael Jordan would have let Dwight Howard? Ain't no way in hell that that would have happened. Ain't no way, because then who gonna guard you? Who gonna guard MJ? Who gonna guard him? Who? Nobody on that. He do Turkaloo. We gonna get, so if Kobe is the closest thing to Jordan, then and Kobe was dropping 40 and stuff. What you think MJ gonna do if you put he do Turkaloo or Jameer Nelson on him? Nothing. So then you gotta do is worried about Dwight Howard. And you got Dennis Rodman, you got Scottie Pippen, you got all the other Luke Longley. You had those guys for that. So I don't want to hear nothing about LeBron James, because LeBron James ran the South Beach to team up with D Wade just so he could try to get out of the Eastern Conference that wasn't that good. Just to get out of the Eastern Conference that wasn't that good, but that was tougher in the days of MJ, where MJ was playing against teams that won 55 plus games. The most incredible I'm sorry, the most competition LeBron had was uh the most okay, we'll answer that question. The most competition LeBron James had in there was probably D Rose, he hurt himself, or the Indiana Pacers, but it was what, who was it? It was when he was in Miami. Toronto and DeMar DeFrozen. DeMar DeFrozen. Yeah, MJ did lose in the first round. MJ did lose in the first round. He lost in the first round. Hmm. But not with when but with Scotty, when he lost in the first round, right? Once he got help, that was over with. Let me drop this nugget on you. When LeBron James had the best record in the Eastern Conference 2 years in a row, they were the best defensive team on the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? They were the best defensive team, and they had the best record 2 years in a row. And guess what happened to LeBron James? He didn't even make it to the NBA Finals. How you got the best record? I think they won 60 games, right? 2 years in a row. They had the best record. Matter of fact, let me look it up, okay? LeBron James has been swept in multiple decades in the NBA Finals with Hall of Famers and and All Stars. See, I would rather be 1-9, not have that amount of help, right? Than to get to the NBA Finals and have all the help in the world and get beat, get swept by an old Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan beat him. Beat him worse than Michael Jackson's Thriller. Beat him worse than Michael Jackson's Thriller. But let's see. Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's look up the Cleveland Cavaliers record. Cleveland Cavs record. Let's see what year was that. Let me see. Let's see. Let me see here. 2000, was it 9? Was it 2009? Okay. Let's look at the Cleveland Cavaliers record 2009. Okay. Cleveland Cavaliers in 2009, the Cleveland Cavaliers won 61 games and lost 21. Okay. Coach was Mike Brown. Okay. Defensive rate 104. They second, okay, net field goals rate. Yep, yep. Uh Number one in the NBA Central Division and lost. Now that's embarrassing. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan would have won 61 games in this conference and didn't even make the NBA finals? That was in 2009. That was in 2009. It says they won the conference, okay, 4-1 against the Chicago Bulls, and went on to lose in the semifinals against the Boston Celtics. They went on to lose against the Boston Celtics. Let's look this up, okay? Went on to lose. Look at the roster. If you want to compare that roster, look at the roster. Are you serious? So LeBron James did it all by himself. LeBron James was the reason why they had six. They had the best defense of rating. They had the best defense in the NBA. You don't get having the best defense in the NBA by yourself. You can't play D on everybody. So he had to have help. 61 and 21. And they ended up going home. Michael Jordan in 1991, 92, 93, with his roster, okay, with that roster, which was similar to the numbers when you look at the scoring contributions, were very, very similar. End up winning an NBA title. Are you listening to me? Michael Jordan, with very similar numbers as this 2009 Cavaliers team in terms of scoring production, went on to win a championship while LeBron James went home. Let's look at the previous season. Previous season, Mike Brown, they won 66 games. They won 66 games and they lost 16, okay? Okay, they won the first round conference 4-0 against the Detroit Pistons. Then they took out the Atlanta Hawks 4-0. And then they got to the Eastern Conference Finals and won 2 games and lost to the Orlando Magic. And this year, let me see, they were first again in their Central Division. They were first. They were first. They had the best record in the Eastern Conference. They had the best record in the Eastern Conference, but some kind of way, in LBJ fashion, they lost. Just like they did in 2011 to the Dallas Mavericks when he got Dwayne Wade on the team, Chris Bosh, and he said, not one, not two, not three, not four. You said, look at the roster. What happened in 2011? You said, look at the roster. What about in 2011? Talk to me. What about in 2011? What about that roster when they were the favorites going into the series and they end up losing to the Dallas Mavericks as the favorites? They were up 2-1 and they lost as the favorites. Michael Jordan has never been the favorite going into the series and end up losing in the NBA Finals. If they were the favorites going in, they won. LeBron James was the favorite going into the 2011 because you said, look at this roster here, as though he didn't have enough help, even though they had 61 wins, 66 wins, and was number one in the division. Right? Best defense in the NBA. You said, look at the roster. So I said, okay, all right. Let's even take that into consideration. Okay, I'm gonna take it into consideration, even though that's another weak excuse. But then when you fast forward it to 2011, when he gets to the NBA Finals, he's going up against the Dallas Mavericks, and he has D Wade, who already won a championship and was a Finals MVP without him, and he has Chris Bosh, who's a multiple-time All-Star. Without him, they lost. So what's your excuse now? And not only did they lose, they were up 2-1. And they let the Dallas Mavericks come back. They let the Dallas Mavericks come back from 2-1. That didn't happen to MJ. He got there to the Heat. When MJ got to the Mountain, he had one of the All-Star. They won the championship. 91, 92, 93. They won. They won. This man has the best record 2 years in a row and chokes. They have the record 2 years in a row in Cleveland and chokes. And so you brought up the Boston Celtics and said, well, look at the roster. And I'm like, okay, I'm showing you the roster when he even has more help. What grace? Because Jordan didn't have that type of roster where he was the number one when they were number one. But if you want to get even deeper, okay, let's even get deeper. Let me just lay the foundation. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Lakers. Let's look at this. Lakers. 20, 21. Let's look at the roster for the Lakers in 2021. Let's look at the 2021. I want to look at the roster. Let's look at the roster. Who was on that team? Let's look who's on that team. No, I said 2022. I said it wrong. Let's look at the next season. I'm gonna bring up the next season for this roster. Okay. All right. Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, DJ Augustine, Kent Bazemore, Avery Bradley. These are solid role players, right? Okay. Carmelo Anthony, a future Hall of Famer. Another one. Ding, ding, ding. Trevor Ariza, okay, who already won a championship with Kobe, DJ Augustine, Kent Bazemore, Avery Bradley, which was one of the best defenders in the NBA at that time. Uh, you had Anthony Davis, Darren Collison. So that bing ding ding, Anthony Davis, a top 75 player in the NBA. Let's go down. You had Wayne Ellington, three-point shooter, Dwight Howard, a future Hall of Famer. Okay, LeBron James, Hall of Famer himself. Let's go down. DeAndre Jordan, Malik Monk, who was balling over there in Sacramento, Rajon Rondo, and Rajon Rondo and Russell Westbrook. Ding, ding, ding. Russell Westbrook, future Hall of Famer, and missed the play-in. Oh, missed the play-in. What do you think the role players that Jordan had was? Would you rather have these role players, or would you rather have the role players that Jordan had? I think I would rather have Kent Bazemore, Trevor Ariza, DJ Augustine than have BJ Armstrong and John Paxton. But look who we had, Dwight Howard, right? They just won a championship with Dwight Howard in 2020. Russell Westbrook on the team. Russell Westbrook. So you got Westbrook, Davis, LeBron, and Carmelo, and Dwight Howard. Five legends, and they couldn't make the play in. Not the playoffs, the play in. Melo was in Portland, still giving numbers in Portland. Melo was in Portland before we came there, and he was still a knockdown three-point shooter. He could still get you 15, 16, 17 points in Portland. But they couldn't make the play in. This is where I'm going with this. Not the playoffs, the play in. Because you know, Daddy Adam Silver Slipper, LeBron James, baby daddy, his savior. I'm joking with the baby daddy thing, but the dude who's always saving LeBron comes up with an idea to have a play in because the Lakers were so bad they couldn't make the playoffs. So we can't have that because the Lakers franchise has historically been one of the most popular franchises. But LeBron James sucks so bad he can't even get them into the playoffs. Because in 2019, they missed the playoffs, right? With LeBron on there, he got his shot blocked. He got his shot blocked by somebody that was a piece of delivery guy in New York. They blocked his shot, sent him home after he activated playoff mode. 2020, the Mickey Mouse ring. We don't even put no stock into the Mickey Mouse ring because in 2021 they went home in the first round, and then 2022, I'm looking here. You got Davis himself, Rondo, Howard, and Westbrook on the team, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan had that much help, it couldn't even make the play in? Not the playoffs, the measly play in. They couldn't win enough games to make the play to qualify for a play in tournament where they could have had a seeding to possibly get in. And they shot the most free throws in the NBA that season and the next season. So they had the league cheating for them and helping them, and they couldn't even make it. They had the league cheating for them, and they couldn't even make it. But you want to have Malik Monk. Malik Monk was balling out of his mind that year. It wasn't nobody. Michael Jordan didn't have no point guards as good as Malik Monk. Man, Malik Monk over in Sacramento who would dunk on you and shoot a three. He ain't had that. But he didn't make the play in. The play in. The freaking play in. He missed the play in. How you do that? How you miss the play in? Could win 30 games because the play in would have existed when Michael Jordan was in the league. He would have been. They would have made that in those seasons where he was 1-9. They would have made that. We talking the play in. LeBron couldn't make the play in. Oh, they wouldn't let that happen. They wouldn't let that happen. They vetoed that. David Stern vetoed that. But they don't got no problem with LeBron having all the superstars on his team, but not no, they wasn't having that. They said not. The LA Clippers made the playoffs with Russ when they got traded the next season. Bull crap. Bull crap. The LA Clippers made the playoffs with Russell Westbrook right after that. So that's more bull crap. Mm-hmm. And then guess what happened? Well, Bron fans, well, it's Westbrook's fault. Oh, he did it. It's Westbrook's fault. He did it. We need a shot creator. We need somebody that can, he can score, make create his own shot. We need then you got D'Angelo Russell. Oh yeah, we got D Russ over here. Yeah, D Russ gonna fix it. D Russ gonna knock it out the bar. Yeah, D Russ. He can create his three because Westbrook couldn't shoot the three. Then D Russell came over. Michael Jordan ain't never had a point guard or shooting guard or whatever like D'Angelo Russell. Knock down the three, get to the paint, do whatever he want to do. He ain't never had that. So guess what happened after that? With D Russell, had some bad games, had some turnovers. Guess what LeBron Sexuals did? Guess what LeBron Sexuals did? Oh man, LeBron lost because of him. They ain't say nothing about the fact that LeBron in the fourth quarter had missed 20 straight 3-point shots. Okay. That year they played Dallas the year they played the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals that year. 20 straight 3-point shots going in the fourth. He missed 20 straight, right? But you know what they did? D'Angelo Russell played like trash. He was D'Angelo Russell fault. It was D Russ. We need to get him out of here. it, D Russ did it. It's his fault. Same old thing. It's Kyle Kuzma's fault. It's Kyle Korver, one of the best. It's Ray Allen's fault. They old. Same thing, man. Same nonsense all the time. So they traded D'Angelo Russell, who they begged Rob Pelinka for. They begged Rob Pelinka to get D'Angelo Russell. Begged him. Cried. My baby needs more help, y'all. Rob Pelinka, he ain't doing his job. I think you're right. LeBron may be top 15 all time. Now you speaking my language. He may be top. He certainly ain't top five. I can tell you that right now. He ain't top five. You got Michael Magic. Uh, we could put Tim Duncan. We could put Bird, Kobe, Shaq. Ain't no way I'm picking LeBron over them guys. Ain't no way. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not picking him over those guys. Nah, you're right. Yeah, he had a bad series, but he was balling up until that point. I mean, he got to stand around and just wait on LeBron and kick him the ball. But they ain't say nothing about the turnovers LeBron had in that series. Look up the amount of turnovers he averaged in that series. They ain't say nothing about all the missed 3-point shots LeBron had in that series. They ain't say nothing about it. What they do, what the LeBron sexuals do when they win is him, and when he loses, it's somebody else's fault. It's the coach fault. It's Frank Vogel's fault. It's what's his name fault? Uh you say Ty Lue. Who else is coaching? David Black. What's the other guy? Darvin Ham. When you lose, it's their fault. Yeah, even though they won the in-season tournament with Darvin Ham, but it's still his fault. It's everybody's fault except the person who picked the teams and have all this stuff going on. How is D'Lo the main facilitator on the team when LeBron James is the one that holds the ball the most? LeBron James holds the ball the most. The offense runs through him on every possession. Most turnovers and most missed shots. LeBron James. The offense runs through LeBron James. It was supposed to be going through LeBron, and they were supposed to be given to AD, but LeBron James can't help himself. He got a stat pad. Darvin Ham even said that the reason why they were losing games because there was so much focus on LeBron passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points, and it took everybody out their game because that's the only thing they was focused on. They weren't focused on anything else. They weren't even focused. This is right out here. Right? They was only focused on. They was only focused on trying to get trying to get the scoring record. You probably don't watch the games yourself. Because if you did watch the games, you would have known Denver was gonna smash them. You would have known Denver was gonna smash them. Which that's what happened. And then that little shot when LeBron couldn't get off and he let Jamal Murray shut him down and Aaron Gordon. Kobe would have never did that, man. Kobe, when it come down to that type of stuff, man, Kobe was a killer, man. They wouldn't have been able to stop Kobe. They wouldn't have been able to stop no Kobe Bryant. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened at all. And here we are, a couple seasons later, from that loss in the first round to the Mavericks last year. I'm sorry, to the Nuggets last year, and before then the Western Conference Finals. And LeBron needs more help. Just fast forwarded, that's where we are. Fast forward, and that's where we are, baby. So they had to do something, and they end up sacrificing Anthony Davis, and now they're blaming Anthony Davis. Jeannie Buss said, "Well, I traded him because he was complaining too much, but LeBron ain't complaining." You see how that makes sense? LeBron was always complaining to the refs, complaining they don't got enough help. He doing all that, but you telling me that y'all traded him because he was complaining too much? Man, come on, man. I can't take you LeBron fan serious. He can't be a leader. That's why he needs someone to lead him. He can't be a leader. D Wade had to lead him. He can't be a leader, so D Wade had to do it. D Wade had to lead him because D Wade was already a Finals MVP. Are you listening to me? It was D Wade. Well, LeBron is trying to replace Kobe right now. LeBron's always been jealous of Kobe, so he's trying to replace Kobe. LeBron is jealous of Kobe. He's trying to, you know, because Kobe got so much respect in China, so much love around the world. Uh, LeBron don't like that. LeBron wants the attention on himself. You know what? You know what? When he won the championship uh, in 2020, the bubble championship, what was the first thing he said? Give me my damn respect too. He ain't say nothing about Kobe. He ain't come out and say this was for Kobe. They used that championship and masked it, saying it was for Kobe to try to elevate that bum. That's what happened. They tried to elevate that bum, LeBron James, and they masked the bubble thing around it to try to promote him. That ain't had nothing to do with Kobe. Oh yeah, he didn't have a father when he grew up. You're right. He didn't have a dad. You're right. Oh, we don't even know the whole story behind it because they ain't gonna tell us. They keep it under wraps. But LeBron needs to be. Yeah. He needs to be he needs to be validated. He needs to be coddled. They coddled him already. Called him the king and everything. Gave everything to him. Oh man. Well, they play the Celtics tomorrow. They play the Boston Celtics tomorrow, so we're gonna go live tomorrow during the Boston Celtics game. Probably start the second quarter. Probably go live for the Boston Celtics game. Hopefully Boston don't shoot 100 3 pointers. Yet y'all think the NBA is better. Hopefully they don't shoot 100 3 pointers. Hopefully they go to the paint. Because that's the thing about the Boston Celtics. They shoot a lot of 3 pointers, and if they ain't hot, then if they ain't hot, it's over with. I don't know why but the skill's supposed to be better. Skill's supposed to be better. Skilled. These players are supposed to be more skilled. They're supposed to be more skilled. LeBron is in the top three best players ever. He is. You sure about that? Okay, I'm gonna read you your rights here. So he ain't better than Jordan. That's for sure. And then it leads me to Magic. Magic 5 titles. I can't put him before Magic at all. Then we go down. We can look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan beat him 2 times in the NBA Finals, right? And Tim Duncan has 5 titles. I can't put him over Tim Duncan. We got Jabbar. We got Jabbar, who's got 6 NBA championships. I can't put him over Jabbar. We got Curry. Curry has got 4 titles. Curry did LeBron's whole career in less time. So Curry got 4 titles, right? And Curry beat LeBron in the NBA Finals 3 times. So I can't put him over. I can't put him over Steph Curry because he was. Steph Curry beat him when it mattered most. Steph Curry beat him. Okay. Uh, you got Shaq. Him and Shaq got the same amount of rings. If I had to draft between the two, I'll take a prime Shaq because they got the same amount of rings. I don't care about all his stats. Shaq won 3 Finals MVPs back to back and back, and three-peated. He's one of the players that three-peated, so I'll take Shaq too. You got David Robinson, Bill Russell. You got David Robinson. You got Bill Russell. So I'm sorry, not David Robinson. I said Hakeem Olajuwon, and you got Bill Russell. You got Larry Bird. Larry Bird to me is one of the greatest small forwards to ever play the game. Larry Bird to me is one of the greatest small forwards to ever play the game. So I would take Larry Bird. That's why I say he could probably fit in the top 10, top 15, but I'm not putting him in my top 5. When you literally have Michael, uh, you got Magic, uh, you got you got Shaq, you got Kobe, uh, you got Jabbar, Bill Russell. I can't put him over Magic. I can't put him over those guys. I can just not. Maybe top 10. Shaq won because of Kobe. I think they both complimented each other. I think they won because of each other. He's not. Brown has never really been he's been good with help defense. He's not really like a lockdown defender or anything like that. No, no, I can't say that. I can't say that at all. Well, we top 5 power forward of all time, or top 5 player. It's two different. You mean your top 5 of your position is different than being a top 5 player of all time. So that argument is kind of mute. That argument is mute. No, Barkley didn't win a championship, but he's still a top 70, top 50 NBA player. He made the top 50. So he's still a top 50 NBA player. Yes, he is. He just don't have the rings to he just don't have the rings to go with it. He don't have the rings to go with it. But if I had to, like I said, maybe LeBron's in my top 10. Maybe he's in my like top 10 or top 15, but he ain't in my top 5. He definitely ain't in my top 5. Not at all. I don't care what ESPN, feed you, drive you. They try to get you. You ain't manipulating my mind because, like I said, Kobe got more rings. Uh, Tim Duncan beat him 2 times in the NBA Finals. Steph Curry is like, oh well, Steph Curry just beat up on him 3 times in the NBA Finals. Yeah, he the GOAT. Wilt, Kareem, Baylor, Magic, Kobe. Wilt, you said 1, 2, Kareem, Baylor, Magic. You talk about your top five is Wilt, Kareem, Baylor, West, Magic. Wilt shouldn't even be in there because Wilt was getting his tail beat by Bill Russell. Bill Russell was destroying Wilt. So I can't put Wilt there. Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron James is basically the same thing. They just the human uh, stats. That's it. That's it. They just stat machine. That's it. That's all it is. Wilt Chamberlain and Wilt got more. He scored 100 points in the game and averaged 50 points a game for a season with 20 rebounds, something LeBron has never did. But the competition, I don't, you could put a little asterisk behind it. But with that being said, uh, that's who LeBron is. Wilt Chamberlain, and that's pretty much it. He got all the records, but that don't make you the greatest player. That don't make you the greatest player of all time. Don't make you the greatest player of all time. All having all the stats in the world don't make you the greatest player. The 50,000 points is just a longevity. He started since he was in high school, so it's a longevity. That's all that is. Longevity. Got to give it to him for longevity, but he didn't. Now, could you imagine if he'd have played all the 82 games 9 times like Michael Jordan? He probably wouldn't be. Probably wouldn't be. Could you imagine if he didn't have the load management? Probably would have broke down by now. His body would have broke down by now. Wouldn't have been able to do, you know, if he would have to stack his teams. If David Stern was the commissioner still, could you imagine David Stern wouldn't allow none of this stuff? Wouldn't have been no play-in, no in-season tournament. It would have been none of this stuff. That's all it is longevity. That's all it is. But who cares about longevity? Because if longevity was really something that was important, right? Then that means that we got to bring Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back. You got to start talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 38,000 points scored, right? Bill did not need Bill did not need wealth and stature. When they were in the finals, Bill Russell was whipping up on him. Bill Russell was getting beat in the finals. I'm sorry, Wilt Chamberlain was getting beat in the finals. I said that wrong. Nah, best player ever is Kareem. Nah, Kareem only got two NBA. Kareem only got two Finals MVP, so that can't be him. So he got 6 championships. He got a good resume. He got 6 championships. So only two Finals MVPs, and one of the Finals MVPs he averaged 14 points a game. That's blasphemy. So that means the other 4 championships. That means someone carried him, and we already know who that was. But Magic Johnson. Can't say that about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan scored most of the points and assisted on them in the finals with the 6 MVP. So that means nobody ever carried MJ in the finals. LeBron at 40 is playing better than most NBA. Is he? Is he really averaging 4 turnovers per game, while the Lakers are a plus 7 with Luca on the court and a -9 when Luca's off the court. So is he truthfully playing better than any other player in the NBA? Also with a negative plus minus, Anthony Davis plus minus is better than LeBron's plus minus. Yeah, Kareem had 6 regular season MVPs. Michael Jordan should have had that, but they gave it to Karl Malone. But he only has 2 Finals MVPs. So that simply means that the other times that he was in the finals, that someone was better than him when he was in the finals on that team. That means that Kareem wouldn't have those rings unless the person that was better than him stepped up, which was Magic Johnson. So there you go. And that's why he can't be in the GOAT conversation. I mean, sorry, he can't be the GOAT. He's in the conversation. He can't be the GOAT. Okay. Uh, he couldn't win without a point guard, right? Like Oscar. And so when he went to LA after they left the Bucks, they weren't winning no championships until Magic Johnson got there. Once Magic Johnson got there, they won a championship. Magic Johnson was the rookie for the Finals MVP. Was a rookie, so you let a rook win Finals MVP. Davis is always fragile, but he for the last 2 years Davis has been available, and he's a plus minus of 30, and LeBron is a negative plus minus, which means that when both is on the court, Anthony Davis has more of a impact than LeBron defensively and offensively. Let's see. Let's look at this. Let's bring up something. Let's look. Yep, that went out. I was trying to bring up some records here. Let's bring up some records here. Let's bring up some records. Okay, let's see. Will Chamberlain's record against Bill Russell. Wilt Chamberlain was four, so he won 4 times against Bill Russell in the NBA Finals, and Bill Russell won 8 times against him. Come on, man. But when it comes to stats, yeah, you gotta have a conversation about Will. But those are just stats, and we already know that. Because if that's the case, Russell Westbrook would be considered the greatest point guard of all time because he got the most triple doubles in NBA history. But he isn't the greatest point guard of all time. We know that's Magic Johnson. That's Magic Johnson, or you can get Steph Curry, depending on how you want to slice it up. Could be between them. Some may favor Steph, some may favor Magic. So it depends on who you want to pick it up. Some may favor Magic, some may go with Steph. Some may look at Steph as a more of a shooting guard. So pound for pound, Magic was more of a point guard. Pound for pound, Magic was more of a point guard. Pound for pound. If we're going by rings, Russell got it. If we're going by rings, Russell got it. No, Russell don't got it. He don't got it because number one, I think in his 11 rings, in Bill Russell's 11 rings, Bill Russell only led the team in scoring in the finals 2 times. And one of the times he led him in scoring, he was averaging 14 points a game. So that means that the rest of the finals, someone else had to lead them in scoring, and it wasn't Bill Russell. So that means that Bill Russell wasn't even the best player offensively. Defensively, yes, but not offensively. No. And we can't say that about MJ. MJ had to lead the team offensively and defensively. Make you say, if Magic was a 6'9", I don't know. I don't even know if it's just Magic height that contributed to it. Height was good, but Magic was a hell of a passer. And he just had phenomenal court vision. And what he did, he literally the name Magic was the best passer in NBA history. I don't even know why they compare LeBron to Magic. You can't compare LeBron to Magic. Magic was one of the best. Him and Bird, one of the best passers in NBA history. Well, I know you said if we're going by rings, but I'm telling you that when you go by the rings, number one, Bill Russell and his 11 rings, they only played against 8 teams, right? And out of the 8 teams they played, you got 8 teams. Okay, only 2 of them had winning records. The rest of the 8 teams had losing records. That's number one. Number two, he only led the team in scoring 2 times out of the 11 rings. That means that out of the 11 times, if he got 11, he only led them 2 times. That means for the rest of the rings, someone carried Bill Russell. Whoever else won those finals MVPs for the rest of the time that Bill Russell was on the team carried them. Nah, LeBron and Magic can't be compared. Not at all. Not at all. Not 90 day. Magic, yeah. Yeah, the Magic can play. He can play those positions. Magic definitely can. How many you gonna be tuning? How many you gonna be tuning? You said how many? You said who else has 11 rings? I think you just missed what I said. So, um, Bill Russell, right, for his 11 rings, right, for his 11 rings, only 2 times you do your push-ups was he the best on the team in the finals, and they played for those times they played 8 teams and with losing records, and he was the 2 times he led on what 13, 14 points a game. He led the team with 14 points a game, right? Compared to Michael Jordan averaging 41 points a game in 1993. So compare that. Michael Jordan averaged 41 points a game in the 1993 NBA Finals, whereas Bill Russell, who averaged 14, and then the rest of the time he won his rings, someone else outscored him in the NBA Finals. So if someone else outscores you, you aren't the best on your team. No one outscored Michael Jordan in the finals. Case closed. I think you just came on this late. I think you came on this late. Pippen, no MVPs, no scoring titles, none of that. Pippen went to go play in Houston and went to go play in Portland and had his chance to win the NBA championship, and he didn't. Pippen played without Mike in '94, nothing. Okay, didn't win anything. Mike comes back, they win. So really, Pippen was winning because of Jordan. Pippen's the Hall of Famer because of MJ. Case closed. I are you comparing Sam Jones to Michael? Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. When I'm gonna get off here, man, we're gonna get up tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna get up here at 5:30 when the game comes on against the Boston Celtics. Pippen played better than Jordan a lot of the times. When did Pippen play better than Jordan? Please show me. What years? He averaged 17 points a game for the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan was the Finals MVP every time. So that means Michael Jordan averaged 30 something in the NBA Finals, not Scottie Pippen. Checkmate. Stop just quoting and saying goofy stuff. All right, man. Let me get out of here, man. See you guys. See you guys tomorrow.